Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and this is my little weekly podcast that I like to call Boogie Nights. This is our fourth installment, and as usual, we are filming it live in the middle of the night on twitch.tv, and we'll be uploading it as well to youtube.com sometime in the morning. Now, if you are lucky enough to catch this live, the easiest way to know that when I go live is to follow me on Twitch. Or you can also follow me on Twitter. You'll always know when I go live, and you can catch us. You can sit here and stare at me, and I'll stare at you while I do this podcast. But I highly recommend you grab your favorite handheld DS game, your favorite Vita game, you plug in your Xbox, you load up your favorite PC game, you sit back and you relax and enjoy. Because all we're going to do tonight is we're going to answer questions from the audience as they come in, here and there, and we're going to talk about video games and gaming in general. This is just something I like to do. A lot of people on the comments last week are like, I love the show, I think it's great. Several people are like, why, it's an hour long, it's too long for me. Well, it's meant to be enjoyed, a little bit at a time. So, maybe you can pause it halfway through, maybe not, maybe you won't watch it at all, but I do it for me. I'm glad that 76,000 people watched the last episode. And I hope that 200,000 people watch this one. But I do it for me because it's just fun to do. I like to hang out on Twitch and talk to you guys. So enough about the show itself. Let's stop being meta, and let's talk about what's going on in gaming. The big news for the week is, of course, CES took place in Vegas this last week, and not a lot there for gamers. Bunch of TVs, bunch of new phones, bunch of new technology. My good friend jayztwocents, I'm probably going to list his YouTube channel, did a lot of coverage of CES, and I followed him on Twitter, paid very close attention to all the awesome stuff that came out of there. Some awesome new televisions, bendable screens, just seriously sci-fi stuff. But speaking of sci-fi, we also got to see a new service by PlayStation called PlayStation Now. And now basically, if you're unfamiliar with what this is cloud-based gaming, and I covered this in a video earlier this week. We're going to go into that service and cloud-based gaming into much more detail here tonight. But now, PlayStation Plus is looking, according to a video they uploaded just a few minutes ago, it looks like PlayStation Now will be a subscription service. And you'll have the option of either subscribing with a monthly fee. My hope is $9.99, probably $14.99, in that neighborhood. If it's much more expensive than that, I think it might be overpriced. And if it's much more under expensive than that, then they're giving it away. It also looks like if you're not subscribed, but you just want to rent a specific game, but you don't want to pay a subscription fee, that looks like that's going to be an option as well. So I'm very excited to see what PlayStation is doing with it. And it's very weird to me because Microsoft is the company that talked the most about cloud gaming during E3 last year, and PlayStation was fairly quiet about it. In fact, when I saw Sid Schumann, we talked about the cloud a little bit, but no real details. Of course, why would they share with me details like that? I'm just some fat neck-bearded YouTuber. But that said, cloud-based gaming, if you're unfamiliar with the concept, you should know, is basically where the device that you're playing the game on is not the device that's generating the images. The system that is processing the images is actually somewhere else. Now, this technology is very similar to looking at the technology on your Wii U gamepad, or if you are remote streaming to your Vita, or if you've used remote desktop from one of your tablets or your phone. It's the exact same technology, only the cloud, the machines that are generating this and running the game for you, are actually far, far away, and they're simply rendering the game, compressing it into a image file and streaming it to you exactly the same way Netflix or YouTube or any other service streams you a video image. And of course, it's going to, the device that you're playing on is going to read your feedback, whether it be your phone and you're using the LED screen, whether it be your PlayStation and you're using your controller, whether it be your Xbox One when they're ready to roll it out there. And there's a lot of good things about cloud-based gaming. Probably one of my favorites is that it is entirely possible that some brands of Sony phone will have PlayStation Now built right in. And if they are capable of doing that, you remember the Xperia little thing, wasn't it? I think it was Xperia. The little, the Play phone with the built-in controllers. Imagine that with being able to play the entire PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 catalog. Imagine if Xbox is capable of getting this on the ground as well, and I'm sure that they are going to, because I talked to Major Nelson, and he mentioned that this is one of their plans is cloud-based gaming. Imagine if you were able to have a Windows phone that does exactly the same thing. Built-in controller, allows you to stream from your Xbox at home, potentially, and allows you to stream from, the limits are endless. Absolutely endless. There's any number of things that can be done with this. And we can't talk about cloud-based gaming without talking about the people that came before PlayStation and Xbox and managed to fail. Now, right now, there's a service you may not have even heard of called OnLive. And a lot of people point to OnLive and say, if they failed, Sony and Xbox are going to fail. I don't believe that's true at all. I generally think that OnLive was a failure for a lot of different reasons. The primary reasons were a piss-poor game library, mismanagement in some ways, no offense, guys, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, lack of marketing, because a lot of people still don't even know the service exists, and at the end of the day, just not what people, I think, were looking for. Frustrating, but that's the case. And so OnLive is certainly failed at this point. It would have been nice that that service got off the ground. What Sony has and what Microsoft has, but from here on out, I'm probably going to talk about Sony, because Sony's the one who are at the forefront of this right now. They're the ones who are getting it out the door first. We're talking this summer. Microsoft, still, we don't have any consistent details on their service. So from here on out, we'll refer to Sony, maybe not Microsoft, but I got so butthurt about that myself. I even lost track for a second there. So what the service is going to allow you to do is play PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 games from your PlayStation 4 and eventually your Vita and potentially other devices as well. That is awesome. For those of you who bought a PlayStation 4 but missed out on the PlayStation 3 library, you'll be able to play some amazing games like the Uncharted series, Last of Us. Fantastic. But what, I remember my point, what PlayStation has that OnLive did not have is an incredibly large install base. Right now, we're sitting at 4.2 million PlayStation 4s shipped to customers. That is crazy. 4.2 million potential customers. And I know what you'll say, Boogie, the potential customers for OnLive were every PC owner. There's 75 million functioning PCs. Okay, yes, that's true. However, when you log into your PlayStation 4 and you see the advertisement for that service, it's right there in your face. It's easier for them to encourage you to do it. They can lump in the fee with PlayStation Plus. They already have there's a lot of bonuses there that PlayStation has. I'll admit that it's possible that they'll fail, and I'll also admit that it's possible that Microsoft will fail. And there are a lot of reasons that you can fail when it comes to cloud-based gaming. The primary concern is your internet usage. Now, Sony came out today to say that you need a 5 megabit pipe coming down in order to have the best experience, minimal of 5 meg. A lot of people are going to have that. A lot of people are not. And if you're in a rural area, you're using satellite internet, God forbid you're still on dial, you're tethering to your phone, just not an option for you. So this is not going to be a great service for you. We're certainly not going to be able to do it from our phones, it looks like, unless you connect to Wi-Fi, and then it depends on how fast the Wi-Fi is. May not work very well in hotels, may not work very well at your mom's old house where you have a bad signal. Lot of negative aspects here too. And a lot of people have actually criticized me by saying, Boogie, you were so critical when a service like the Xbox One, and we're going to talk about that at great length tonight, at the end of this little at the end of this little podcast, but you're so critical of the Xbox One's policies. They're always on because you're worried about the internet. Now you're not being critical about this service, which is requiring internet to function. And I'll tell you the reason is because it's an optional service entirely. You can still go purchase a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 2. My Game Exchange in my area still sells PlayStation 1s for factory reset and perfect in condition for like $25-50. They still sell the games, even though some of the games are very difficult to find in working condition. and some of the collector's items can be worth hundreds of dollars, you have those options. And if you are the person that does that, the fact that the $200 collector's item game will be on this service is only going to cause that collector's item edition to drop down in price, even though it may only be barely noticeable. So I'm eager. I'm very eager. And whether it was Xbox or PlayStation who is making this announcement, it's PlayStation in this case. They definitely got their best foot forward here. I would be excited about the service because cloud-based gaming is awesome. And one of the best potentials for cloud-based gaming is 4K. Now, we saw my phone, which I just picked up. Where is it? I want to show you guys. I picked up a Note 3. As you can see, it's absolutely massively huge. But one of the reasons I picked up this phone is because it can actually film in 4K, and the quality is actually really good. Now, most of the time, I'm never going to upload to YouTube in 4K, but YouTube is almost or is 4K ready. I'm not sure. And your televisions and monitors are coming out at 4K right now. There's a Dell monitor that's only 30 hertz at 4K, but will produce video gameplay for you in 4K. It's killer. That's absolutely killer. There were a bunch of TVs that were shown to be 4K at this crop, and there's only going to be more next year. 4K is the future. If the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 can't put out in 4K, cloud-based gaming is the only way you're going to get to enjoy 4K gaming. Simple. Very simple. Oh, that feels better. All right. And that's my little bit on cloud-based gaming. Also, earlier this week, I made a video talking about the video game Angry Birds Go, or as I renamed it, Angry Birds Go Fuck Yourselves. And the reason I got so butthurt about this game was because I saw a image on reddit.com/r/gaming. Yes, I read Reddit, please. Don't hate me for whatever reason. That for some reason, some people get really mad about that. I don't know why. But I saw an image of a $149 car that you can purchase inside Angry Birds Go, a free-to-play game. Now, as it turns out, this screenshot was actually from the beta, and the beta certainly allowed you to spend a lot of money. It was a public release beta, and that's how that image got taken. The current version of Angry Birds Go has the exact same car for only $49.99, which is dramatically better than $149, but it's still complete fuckery. Pardon my language. I swear a lot, and I'm going to swear a lot tonight, especially when I talk about this fucking game. $149 in beta. How did they ever think they could get away with it? Well, apparently they realized they couldn't. But $49.99. Now, here's the thing. A lot of video games are worth $49.99. I can think of a few right off the top of my head that I've played recently that I am playing right now. Assassin's Creed is definitely worth $49.99. Assassin's Creed 4, one of the best games I've ever played. Last of Us. Last year's Tomb Raider. Most games I play are worth $49.99. But when it comes to a smaller game that offers way less depth and has way less of a development budget, I tend to expect a better price. Starbound was one of the best games I played this year in 2013 and 2014. It's currently in early release, but I only paid $14.99 for it. And if you're one of the lucky few that were the first ones to put a bid in on this latest Humble Bundle, one of the first 1,000 people, you got it for $9.99 or whatever the minimum was. So awesome game. Awesome deal. Some of the best games I've ever played were very inexpensive. Binding of Isaac with Wrath of the Lamb, you can currently get at the Humble Store for very little. I think it's $4.99 or maybe it's $7.99, and it's worth every penny. I highly recommend that game if you haven't played it. One of the best games I've ever played. But again, it's just Ed McMillan. It's just Team Meat developing that game. It's not a multi-million-dollar game. Now, I know that a lot of people worked on Angry Birds Go, and I know that they need to make their money back, and I admit that it's probably the most in-depth Angry Birds game to date. But Angry Birds tends to have an entry price of like 99 cents or $1.99, $2.99 for the HD versions. So when they went free-to-play, what they actually went was rob people blind to play. I can't believe it. And even if it's not just those two cars for $49.99, which you never have to buy, you never have to buy those cars. They're for people who have $49.99 laying around. They just don't give a shit. It's for, I don't know who it is. This kid, Will Smith's kids. They're like, Dad, can we get the really fancy car? And it's like, how much is it? $50, Dad. And he's like, well, go ahead, Jaden. It doesn't fucking matter because it's only $50, and I made that much money in the time it took me to tell you to go ahead and fucking do it because I invested my millions well. And Jaden's like, well, how do we know that mirrors are real if Angry Birds aren't real? I don't fucking know, Dad. I'm going to tweet that and then go play Angry Birds. I don't know. But it's not for you or me. But it's okay that the option is there. The real damning portion of Angry Birds Go is that you can't play it unless you have lives, unless you have energy, your birds run out of energy, that you're encouraged to spend gold to soup up your cars, to win races you're losing, and if you can't soup up your car, you're not going to win, so you got to buy coins, and you got to buy crystals, and every step of the way, the gameplay is sincerely hampered. Sincerely hampered. And that's the line that we have to draw when it comes to microtransactions. And several people have been critical, and I have read your criticisms. Many people have said, Boogie, what's the problem with microtransactions? You don't have to buy them. And I know that you don't have to buy them. And it's absolutely okay if it's an add-on. For example, Assassin's Creed 4, made by Ubisoft, is a game that I'm currently playing. And right now, there's a ton of add-ons on the PlayStation 4 store that I can easily go invest on. Some of which are even cheats. Like there's some that allow you to unlock stuff without completing portions of the game for 99 cents, $1.99. And I may determine that I want the rewards and pay 99 cents to unlock that stuff. Hearthstone is another perfect example of a game that has microtransactions that you don't have to pay for. If you want the absolute best deck in Hearthstone, you can either earn it by playing in the arena, by playing, you're using your gold to play in the arena, by playing in the casual games and earning gold, taking those gold and investing it in better cards. Or you can go ahead and spend some money to buy gold. That's an option. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when it hampers gameplay. When you're constantly harassed. If you're the kind of person that doesn't want to spend money on Hearthstone, there's never a pop-up on Hearthstone that tells you you should go buy some gold and play some arenas. You get better at the game. There's no pop-ups in Assassin's Creed, at least that I've seen, that tell you you could go to the PlayStation Store and just skip these quests and get free shit. There's nothing there that doesn't do that. And if it does, it's going to frustrate me. Speaking of Ubisoft, at the beginning of Rayman Legends, it will tell you if you don't want to unlock all of the levels, you can unlock them by buying an unlock. That pisses me off. That pisses me off. You know? And so it's a fine line. Microtransactions have their place. Microtransactions have their place. They don't have their place in Rise, where when I'm playing multiplayer and it tells me I need to upgrade my gladiator to perform better and that I need gold, and then right there it says go buy gold to the store. That's frustrating. That's frustrating. And Angry Birds Go, if you haven't played it, it's free to play. You can get it on any tablet. You can get Android. You can get it on iOS. And it is fucking stupid. So you'll see exactly the point that I'm making. And if I'm wrong, I welcome you to tweet me about it. Tell me how much you love Angry Birds, how much your kids love Angry Birds. And, that's great. So, where are we going from here? Elder Scrolls Online is another big hot topic button this week. Now, I read an article at Elder Scrolls Online, of course, coming out for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I think it's coming out for the older consoles. May not be, I'm not entirely sure. But it may be one or the other. Well, anyway, Elder Scrolls Online is a game that I'm constantly being asked about. And I wanted to let you guys know that I have had a very grim view of Elder Scrolls Online for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I don't really have the time. I don't really have the time to play an MMO anymore. So that's a little frustrating area for me. But I do still love an MMO, and I will probably consider streaming Elder Scrolls Online. But it's weird because the subscription-based model is not a good model anymore. And if you're going to have a subscription-based model, you certainly can't put an in-game store into the game. And my understanding in the beta, there is an in-game store, and they plan to have one on launch. But beyond that, it's also a $60 price tag. These are a lot of things that really are going to need to make the game exciting to play. One of the reasons their pricing structure is the way that it is they've spent $200 million. Now, I hope I'm not misquoting that. By the way, I see somebody in the room named Major Nelson who said hello. I don't know if it's actually you, Larry, but if it is, sir, I hope you're having a wonderful night. We're going to talk a bit about Xbox in just a little while, and I hope you're around for it because I've got some good stuff to say I think you may want to hear. But that said, $200 million. Good Lord. What did they do with that kind of budget? Because I've looked at some gameplay, and the gameplay looks pretty boring. And I hate to say that because I'm going to play it, and I hope that you consider playing it as well. I'll give you a full review and give you some good ideas. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'll give you an idea of what I think about it when I get the opportunity to play it. I did not play the beta, but it looks like every other MMORPG. And that's not good, because it needs to stand out. Now, I'm going to give another plug here to a game that I'm very excited about, EverQuest Next. And I'm a little concerned now about EverQuest Next. Even though I'm a big fan of Sony Online Entertainment and all the work they do over there. Hi, Smedley, if you ever see this. I am Uberwolf, if you remember me. I'm from Praxis server. But anyway, if you are over there looking at EverQuest Next, in order to be one of the pioneers, you can spend $99 to get into the early alpha build, that you have to sign an NDA. Elder Scrolls Online Beta also required you not to talk about it. Are you kidding me? This is insane. If you can buy into a beta, you should be able to talk about what you bought so that other people do not make the same purchase if it's bad. You should also be able to talk about what you bought and put it online and stream it and show it. So EverQuest Next has me at an opportunity here where I'm not really as excited as I was. Now, I'm definitely going to be a pioneer on it. And damn the NDA, by the way. Damn the NDA. Smed, if you're going to ban me for talking about it, then you've let the wrong person into your alpha. But I absolutely want to talk about it, and we're going to if I get a chance to play. So frustrating. So Elder Scrolls Online, after looking at some gameplay, looks interesting. And I'm interested in giving it a shot. But I'm really not expecting it to be phenomenal. In fact, at this point, I'm not even sure I'm expecting it to be good. I'm expecting it to be mediocre. And it's very frustrating as I read NeoGAF almost every day, and it's frustrating to see the way that they are butchering the lore, the way they're changing the world to make their own ends. I don't really know. But the biggest reason I wanted to talk about Elder Scrolls Online, one of the biggest reasons I want to talk about Elder Scrolls Online was because it really seems like perception is finally changing. There is a lot of people that are really excited about that game, and it seems like they're not. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Save your judgment for release. Save your judgment for the reviews. Save your judgment till you get to see screenplays. And now, originally, everybody was excited about it, so you were excited about it. Now a bunch of people are not excited about it, so people are becoming not excited about it. Just fuck the hype, man. Let's all make our own decisions when it comes out. Let's look at the gameplay. Let's look at the screenshot. Let's read the breakdowns. Let's see whether or not it's a game worth having. And let's just hope. Let's just hope, because I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful. I'm not excited anymore, but I'm definitely hopeful. Oh well, what do you do? Also at CES this year, and a lot of people are requesting I talk about this, was up to 13 different Steam boxes that you can purchase. And if you're unfamiliar with what this is, it is a PC, pre-made PC that will come with Steam OS built right in, which is a Linux format, which will allow you to play a variety of games via Linux, via the Steam OS. And if you already own it on Steam, you'll also already own it on the Linux version of Steam OS. And now a lot of the big budget AAA games are not on, that's another one I want to talk about. I'm taking notes as we go. A lot of the big AAA games are not going to be in Linux. They will not be playable on Steam OS yet. but hopefully they will be as the install base gets bigger. And now one of the things that I thought was very interesting is Gabe Newell spoke quite a bit about his Steam box at CES, and when asked whether or not he was worried about being able to keep up with PlayStation and Xbox, he got asked whether or not he was concerned about the 4.2 million PlayStations that were sold in 2013. And he said, no, because there's already 75 million people out there who can install SteamOS. And that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek answer. It's funny, and a lot of people laughed and thought it was really good, and I thought it was really good. It's a very quotable soundbite. But at the same time, it's a little frustrating, mostly because that's for installing SteamOS. How many Steam boxes are you going to be able to sell? Now, the price point ranges anywhere between, I think, $499 was the cheapest Steam box to as much as $2,000 for one of the biggest Steam boxes here. You can get one with a lower end PC. You can get one that's just screaming and beautiful. Alienware is involved. A bunch of other companies, iBuyPower, a lot of the biggest pre-builts out there. Hopefully, one of them will get a contract with Walmart, and we will see a $500 entry model on the shelf at Walmart, and we'll finally have a PC that is easy to understand, easy to put together, easy to maintain, and be able to put it on the shelves at Walmart so that when someone who's a gamer wants to, or a parent, walks into Walmart and looks at on the shelf, Best Buy, whatever, and somebody says $6,000 was the most expensive Steam box. So holy God, what does it do for $6,000? Good God. I'm going to have to look at that box. Jeez. I wouldn't pay $6,000 for a computer if it came with immortality. Okay, I would then, but... oh, I'm actually shocked by that. $6,000. Good Lord. Oh, anyway, it's nice to have a box that will set on the Walmart Best Buy shelves, and you can walk in and simply pick it up, take it to the counter, plug it in, and now you know. This is the streamlined end-user experience that every kid and every parent can fully understand. No longer is it scary to buy a PC. No longer is it scary to put that stuff together. It's just there for you. It's just all ready and exciting and good. And this makes me all... So basically, again, as we talked about the Steam box before, and I want to say it again, I don't know how successful it's going to be, but I really want it to be successful. I really do. Because when I was a kid, my mom set an Atari 2600 down in front of me when they were on sale. You know, I got it a couple years after it was out. She set this Atari 2600 down in front of me, and it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. And it put me on the right path. And when I was in elementary school, they put me in front of a Commodore 64 and taught me how to program BASIC. And that was amazing as well. So if you put a kid my age with my brain and my desire and my likes and my dislikes in front of a Steam box and say, this is a PC, and he learns about Linux and he learns about PCs, and it pushes him in that direction. And if technology is so wonderful, if we can convert people from to PC, then the things you can do with a PC is infinitely more useful than the things you can do with a console. And a console is a good jumping off point too. But putting a kid in front of a PC is putting him in front of the world. He can create, and he can build, and he can do anything. And creating a lifelong love with a PC or a Mac, either one, is putting them into the future. It really is. And that's what got me into web design. That was what got me into video creating. That's what got me into editing on the internet. It got me into gaming. That decision. And that is so exciting for me. It's just so exciting. And so I'm so glad that they're making the Steam box. I'm so glad they're trying to get into the living room. I'm so glad that they're pushing that envelope. And in fact, I want to talk about another product at CES, which was very exciting to me. Razer has a completely modular PC. And this thing is, I'm going to see if I can find a picture of it. I'm going to just Google real quick and we'll show it to you. I can't believe this thing. I believe it was Razer. I'm pretty sure. Yep, this is that monster. And boy, howdy, is it weird. Cannot be found. Come on, let me have the image, please. There we go. This is not a very good picture of it, but it is a picture of it. And I believe you'll enjoy seeing it. This is what it looks like. How crazy is this thing? Now, the centerpiece here, if you're not looking at your screen and you want to look at it for a brief moment, this centerpiece here is a cooling tower. And then each of these blocks that you plug into it represents another part of the PC. The video card, the CPU, so on and so forth. And you'll plug it in and lock it into place. And then there you go. You're ready to upgrade. You pull out your old video card block. You plug in your new video card block. Absolutely simple and easy to do. And I'm sure this thing's going to be expensive, and whether or not it'll come out in this exact form, I don't know. But this is a brilliant idea. This is how you get across to consumers who are not computer savvy, who haven't been using computers their whole lives. This is how you get them to understand upgrades. This is how you get them to understand all basic computing. And now, of course, if you guys don't know, there's also people working on the modular phone that does the exact same thing. So you want a new camera, you buy the new camera block, you stick it into your block phone. That's a whole other thing. But to see this brought to PC, it's needed much, much more than it's needed to the phone market, I believe. I will take huge advantage of this. This is my kind of thing because I'm used to buying a new PC every 4 years. If I can just replace parts and it's cost effective to do so, this is the future. So Razer, congratulations. I am absolutely blown away by your ability to be awesome. Now let me get this off the screen here. Boop. There we go. Way to go, Razer. Now, if you want to read up more on that, I'm going to recommend, again, my friend jayztwocents, who went to CES and was able to come up with all kinds of goodies and all kinds of great information for you to look at. I was blown away by his coverage. And again, I'm probably going to link that in... Innovation, man. Innovation. CES this year was all about innovation. It was also about some really funny shit, too. And if you guys didn't see this, hopefully you will Google it. Michael Bay, the director, Michael Bay is responsible for movies like Transformers, known for his big explosions, had a meltdown during the Sony Bravia TV setup in which he was supposed to be showing the new curved television, like a 108-inch curved television. Is crazy. But the prompter failed to work, and he ended up walking off stage, and it was just one of the most cringe-worthy, embarrassing moments. Good Lord. Oh, wow. Poor Michael Bay. Sorry, Michael Bay. I've never felt so bad for a director in my life. And then again, he makes good movies. Now, we're going to talk about Xbox for a little while. And first off, we're going to start off with sales numbers. And some of you who are watching a Team Xbox or are big Xbox fans are not going to like some of these numbers, but I'm going to ask you to stick with me. 4.2 million sales before December 28th of the PlayStation 4. 4.2 million sales. That is incredible. And now Microsoft has reported 3 million sales. Presumably to customers, 3 million sales of the Xbox One. Now that's a 1.2 million console lead, which is frustrating for a lot of people. And it's a little frustrating for me as well. Boy. Now I know if you're an Xbox fan out there, it is easy to blame me for being part of that. And I have tried to make up for my part of that. Once they changed their policies by having Major Nelson come to my house, it was really a gift for me, but I agreed to do it because I was eager to help them out and make sure that I got to try the Xbox One and other people got to check the Xbox One. Xbox One is a great system, and I wanted to help push it just as much as I was helping push the PlayStation 4, even though I preferred the PlayStation 4 personally. That said, a lot of people have been taking that as, well, you know what, fuck the Xbox, it's the loser, it's sucking 3 million sales, it's nothing compared to our 4.2, but it's actually quite a few sales. 3 million sales worldwide, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. 3 million people loving the Xbox One. And yes, they've made some mistakes prior to launch, and yes, they've made some mistakes past launch. But if you're one of those people that is interested in having an Xbox One, you are eager to get into the Xbox One, and you already have a PlayStation 4, I recommend you also get an Xbox One. The media stuff is fantastic. I have had a really great time, and it plays 90% as good as the PlayStation 4. Not as good as PC, but still really good. It looks great on all these multi-plat games. It really does. And so, people are going to claim that I'm kissing ass here, but I'm dead serious. Somebody is actually just typed that. But the reality of it is, it's a good system. And I'm glad that they haven't failed utterly. I did not want them to fail. I don't want them to fail at all. I would love it for very personal reasons. I would love it if they stayed neck and neck for the next year. For the next 2 years, the next 6 years. That would be incredible because competition is good. Repeat that to yourselves. Competition is good. It's good for the consumer. And it makes them not want to scale back PlayStation Plus. It makes them want to try to get the edge. It makes them want to be more affordable. It makes them want to create better services and they want to serve you better. It is awesome. So if you're one of the PlayStation 4 guys who are just sitting here thinking, I want the Xbox One to fail, number one, it shouldn't fail. There's a lot of people out there who love it, and it's a great system. And it would be a fucking shame if these people who took their foot and put it in the front door of innovation and said, let's innovate, let's make the Kinect, let's put the camera in it, let's do voice commands, let's do all this cool shit, let's tie it into TV, let's do all that cool stuff. It would be terrible if their system failed. You don't want it to fail. And even if you're a PlayStation fan for life, if you're a member of the PlayStation Nation till death, you still want them to be there to compete with the PlayStation. Because competition is good for you. Competition is good for me. Competition is good for everybody. Competition is the way we get shit done. Now, a lot of people are talking about Titanfall in the channel, and we are going to talk about Titanfall here for a second. Oh, and a lot of people, so before we get into Titanfall, a lot of people are like PC Master Race, which is fine. If you love PC, I love PC too, but I also love my consoles. But once again, if PC was all there was, we wouldn't have the competition of the consoles to keep it cutting edge, keep it interesting, and keep it fun. I'm glad that we have those different setups. And if you own a Macintosh, you're probably not gaming a lot. Candy Crush is fun. And I mean like Magic Online and stuff. No, Magic Online's not on there. What else is on there? Warcraft. You're playing Warcraft, and it's fun. And that's okay. You can have a Mac. I have an iPad. They're awesome. Love that App Store. Okay, so Titanfall. Now, one of the reasons a lot of people are excited about the Xbox is Titanfall is a both PC and Xbox One exclusive. And it's going to look and play very well on the Xbox One. But a lot of people got very upset this week when it was announced that there is only 12 maximum players in Titanfall. 12 total players. 6 versus 6. Welcome to 2014, people. I was playing 64-player matches of Battlefield and Wolfenstein a decade ago, and now here we are, 6 versus 6. Next generation hardcore. Well, I decided that I wanted to find out why. And the answer is very simple. 6 versus 6 is important for Titanfall because of the mechs. The mechs are big. They affect large portions of the map. They are huge. It looks like it's going to be baller. So, like they said, it could be 6 people in a mech versus 6 people in a mech. That's why they have to limit it. It could be, they said most of the time it plays like a mixture of mechs and infantry, some combination thereof. But because of those mechs, you really have to keep your eyes on. Now, somebody's telling me that I need to watch Total Biscuit's video on Titanfall, so do you. But the reality of it is, I believe that Titanfall is still going to be a very good game, and you should not worry about them balancing it in a way that's 6 versus 6. Maybe they're starting off with 6 versus 6, and we'll move into it later. Maybe it's simply because of the incredible impact that the mechs have on the gameplay. Maybe who knows? But here's what we know. don't count a game out on a rumor like this. Don't count a game out on one single aspect of the gameplay. There's a lot of things against Titanfall coming up, okay? You got to worry about the fact that there's no single player campaign and it's online only, and you've wasted your money when the servers shut down. You don't even have a single player. The disc will be worthless when the servers shut down. You can worry about the fact that the engine is old and it doesn't necessarily look that great, but it should be fun to play. It should be fun to play. And I'm excited. I'd rather have 12 by 12. I'd rather have 16 by 16 or 32 by 32. I would love, now that they shut down the servers for, what was that, massive mag, was it? Massive Army, I don't know. But now they shut down the servers for mag. I would really like to see another 64 by 64 console shooter game. Hell, I'd like to see that on PC. I don't care where you make it. As long as it's not like fucking iPad. And I run out of energy every 5 fucking minutes. And I can pay $49.99 for a fucking helmet. God, Rovio, why did you do that, Rovio? Why? It's fucking bad enough you guys put fucking the giant phoenix in the daily shit. And fucking regular Angry Birds after I paid not any fucking cents. Cocksucker. Fucking Rovio. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I like money too, but fuck, man. Seriously, you don't see me fucking selling Boogie t-shirts out there for $100 a pop. I mean, I do sell them and I think they're like 19, but still. Are you fucking... Oh, fuck. Birds gotta eat, man. Birds gotta eat. One of the last things I wanted to talk about tonight, I wanted to talk about Xbox One a little more. Now, I came across a thread on the old Reddit. A lot of people hate Reddit, and I don't really get it. Mostly because I read Reddit every day, and I really enjoy it, and I stay away from the comments. When I do read the comments, people say really shitty things in the comments, but people say really shitty things anywhere you can leave comments. And so it's really hard for me to get too terribly butthurt. If I post a picture of myself, people are going to call me fat. Post a video over on Reddit, they're going to call me a talentless piece of shit. It's the same as YouTube. It's the same as Twitter. It's the same as everywhere. This is what people say on the internet. When people sit down in front of the internet, they become complete and utter fuckfaces. So it's difficult for me to get too butthurt about this, but I came across a thread about me on the Xbox One, on the Xbox One subreddit, and these guys were talking about me, saying that I was one of the major reasons that they reversed their decisions, and how great it would have been if they didn't reverse their decisions, and how... how I was a whiny little fat shit, and how I was untalented, and I was stupid, and I was a piece of crap, and, I didn't want it for it to get to me, but it did. And to those people that, I know they're not going to watch this, they're not going to see this, but it just makes me feel better to talk about this, and I hope you guys can endure, because it's going to make me feel better. One of the reasons I was so resistant to the change of Xbox One, the decision to go discless, well, not discless, there would still be a disc which would install a copy of the game, but with all these online 24-hour checks, stuff like that, going mostly digital, needing to do the digital check, a lot of different reasons. And I wasn't too butthurt about going discless or going into the disc system where they were trying to redefine the disc. I told Major Nelson when we sat on my couch, I got what you were going for, and I like the Steam model. I really do. And I can get that. And I think it sucks that you won't be able to rent games. I kind of get it. I know where you were going. It can't work yet. And let me explain to you why it can't work. Once again. Number one, internet in America, and especially outside of America, is simply not ready. A lot of people living in rural areas lose their internet, will not be able to play games. Poor people who cannot afford at-home internet or a decent internet connection are very unable to play Xbox. And a lot of these inner city youth and a lot of these rural kids are some of your biggest fans. And we're buying WWE games, and we're buying EA Sports games, and we're paying big money for our Xboxes so that we can play. I grew up in a rural area. I grew up in Southwest Virginia in a coal mining district. And it took us for a while to get access to dial-up in our area without making a long-distance call to get the dial-up. You know, I had to get dial-up here in the United States, or here in Arkansas, and it wasn't even particularly good here. It was 3 or 4 years out before cable internet reached us, and our cable internet's still not very good. Cox Communications, hi. They still go down about once a week for me. It's working fine right now, but who knows 20 minutes from now. And the reality of it is, if I can't play video games, when the internet's down, I got nothing I can do. It's frustrating. But one of the biggest reasons I made the videos that I made was because I was tweeted by a serviceman, and that serviceman let me know that he liked to play Xbox on the base and while deployed. And on the base, sometimes they had sporadic internet, but when they were moving and doing other things, when the guys who were in the Navy would play on the boats, these guys did not have access to the internet, and it really sucked because they would not be able to play Xbox One. So I greatly wanted to encourage these people to pick up a PlayStation 4 instead. I wanted to greatly encourage PlayStation not to do it, and I wanted to greatly encourage Xbox to not do it because it is bad for the consumer. And a lot of these people that question me about it, they say, well, you know, it would have been great for me. Oh, it would have been fine for me. It would have been fine for me. I'm glad that it would be fine for you. I'm glad that you live in a city where you have internet access. I'm glad that you got the money to pay for the highest package. I'm happy for you. But a lot of people don't. Have some empathy, please. Have a little empathy. Have a heart. Think of the servicemen. Think of the poor kids. Think of the poor people. Once again, when it comes to not being able to sell your used discs, to not be able to rent games from your local rental store or Redbox. If you can't rent games, you can't trade games. When I was growing up, we only got 3 games a year. I got 3 games a year. 1 for my birthday, 1 for Christmas, and if we found one on budget, sometimes another point of the year. 3 games a year. If I couldn't trade games with my friends, if I couldn't rent games from the store, I was getting nothing, man. You know? And maybe you're not one of those people that ever have to rent. Maybe you buy every game brand new right off of the shelf as soon as it comes out, collector's edition. You got a wall full of statues at your house. That's awesome, dude. And I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you're so successful that you can have that. But not everybody can. And when you lock out used discs, you lock out those consumers. You lock out those people. And that's bad, man. That's bad for the consumer. Well, Boogie, one of the people said, oh, he loves Steam, but he doesn't like it on the Xbox One. Number one, I can still get a lot of AAA titles directly from Walmart right now, and GameStop, and Amazon. Most PC games still have a boxed version. Okay, if they decide not to release an unboxed version, it sucks for the consumers who can't purchase it. That's why they buy consoles. That's why they are Xbox fans. Because if Tomb Raider 2 chooses not to have a disc version, then they will never play it. If they choose not to have a disc version for the PC, they're going to buy it on an Xbox One. And if they can't do that either, then they're fucked. And why screw that guy over? Why not have some empathy? Why? So that the developers don't lose money on used games? Is that why? That's not worth it. Because it's more convenient for you. How is it more convenient for you? Because you don't like fumbling with discs? Then just buy digital, dude. Okay? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to deal with. You know, at the end of the day, if they want to make me out to be the bad guy, then I'm the bad guy. All right? And I'll be your bad guy. I have no problem with that. I'll be your fat, talentless piece of shit. Okay? You can make fun of me, and you can hate me for the mistakes Microsoft made. You can do that, and I'll take it. But I will sit here right now and tell you that I fought for those changes for the consumer, for the poor kid, for the military guys, for the people you're leaving out of this equation. And I'll also tell you that since they made those changes, Xbox made a fan out of me. Now, I'm always going to be PlayStation Nation for life. That's true. Okay? But I am also an Xbox fan now. And I never was before. I did not play Xbox hardly at all during the 360 era. And I barely played it during the original Xbox One, well, Xbox face. And now I love my Xbox One. I do. I really do. And my wife uses it almost every day. We use it to watch Netflix. I use it to play Killer Instinct. I'm even looking at that little... somebody's got to tell me this is good. That little Halo tactical game. You know, I'm an Xbox fan. I'm one of you. And it sucks when I'm reading the Xbox One subreddit and I see you guys tearing me a new asshole. Do you have any idea how that makes me feel? Well, probably not, because we've established you're not particularly empathic people. Empathetic people, sorry. You're not very empathetic people. But I wish you could be. Because I got to tell you something, last night I removed myself from the Xbox One subreddit. You guys have become cynical, you've become bitter, you've become, I don't know. Don't focus it on me. God, shit. One guy said, and this is what he'd say if he ever heard this, but he said, Boogie manipulating people with emotion. You know, trying to whatever. You know what? Well, you probably think that's what this is. Manipulating people with emotion. I obviously can't manipulate you with emotion because you don't have it. So, anyway. And Major Nelson, if it really is in you and you did really make it to this point, I thank you so much, by the way, for coming to me. I thank you for the things I thanked you for that day, for making the changes you guys made and making a good system. But that really is you in here, just so you know, brother. I thank you so much for bringing me that Xbox One and turning me into an Xbox fan for the first time in my life. And I am. That's where we are. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much. I still am a member of PlayStation Nation and will be for life. But I digress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's just about going to wrap it up. We don't have any other big things to talk about. I do want to talk about Assassin's Creed 4 a little bit more. It's the game I've been playing. And even though I only ever get to play in 1 or 2 hour spurts these days, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't know how I missed it last year. I guess because they didn't give me a copy of it with my PlayStation 4. I did have a downloaded version of it for a very brief period of time, pre-release. But then they jerked that away from me. So that did not work out. Let's see. Well, I did purchase myself a brand new phone recently. Got myself a Galaxy Note. Again, I don't know if I showed it off. It's amazing what they can do with phones these days. I'm so sad the mobile gaming is in the state that it's in. I want a mobile game, but I also don't want to waste my money. So depressing. Star Citizen is something definitely people are asking. Star Citizen is definitely a game that I'm interested in. I know nothing about Warlords of Draenor. Maybe we'll talk about it next time we do one of these. Fallout 4. Of course, I'm excited about Fallout 4. Absolutely going to be a fantastic game, I am sure. League of Legends. Yeah, the usual. I guess that's going to wrap it up. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to take a short break here. We're going to run a 30-second commercial break, and then this will be the portion we'll upload to YouTube. Then I'll come back, and I'll chat with you guys just a little bit, and we'll have a little bit of fun. So again, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. If you're here on Twitch, take a quick break. Sit back and endure those ads, and we'll get into it. Bye.